5:46, I'm calling to order this meeting of the City of Bandera Board of Adjustment. All board members are present. At this time, I would like to read to you an email from Councilman Russ. This was sent to me February 24th at 1:10. I am recusing myself from voting on the BOA for the exception of the sign by Pioneer Park scheduled for tonight, 12/24/2021 at 5:45. Jerry, if you'd like to be excused.
Are we gonna continue anything after this?
We'll come get you.
This is all for the BOA.
Right.
Then we go back to City Council.
Well, there's two agenda items on the BOA, right?
Yeah, yes,
Oh, they're both for the same person.
they're both the same thing.
Yes, Darcy.
Just being particular
Hello,
about
this is Christine.
the
I just wanted to let you know I'm joining.
the rules and the policies, it does say that we have to put why.
I'm sorry.
Just
Can
one
you
second, ma'am.
mute
Are you with the RV park?
Yes, I am.
Okay,
does say
I'm
that we have to
gonna
put
mute you
why we're
until they're ready
recusing
to speak
ourselves.
to you, okay?
Verbally, he told me conflict of interest.
I'm sorry.
I'm
because he
gonna
owns
mute you
Riverside.
until they're ready to speak to you, okay? Thank you.
Okay.
Go ahead. The lady from the RV park is on the phone.
Christian.
Okay, item
Christine.
1
Yes.
is consideration, discussion, and possible action on request by Kristen Pearson, owner of Bandera Pioneer RV River Resort at 1202 Maple Street, Bandera, Texas, for a 46 square foot variance from the maximum square footage allowed for freestanding commercial sign and a 3-foot variance from the maximum height requirement under the terms of the Bandera Code of Ordinances 3.09.012. You have her application. You see her, it was denied because of the sign variation. Yes, Rebecca?
I have a question, and I'm sorry if I just haven't gotten to it yet, but the replacement sign is the same size as the current sign?
That's correct.
That is correct.
Which exceeds.
Which
the-
exceeds,
Yes.
right.
Yes.
So it was a non-conforming sign.
And they're just making it look better, correct?
They're replacing it, yeah. They're,
Because it's weathered.
Did you wanna hear from Christine?
Christian.
Or,
I don't know that I'm ready.
okay.
Is it just the sign that's on 16, or is it one on?
it's both signs.
It's
both.
both
It's
of them.
Yeah, that's why there's
16.
two different I'm sorry. That's why there's two different applications, because they have multiple
There's a
signs.
height.
No, that's the reason.
Yeah.
One's the size of the sign and one's the height.
No, there's
No,
two
there's
different
one on
signs.
State Highway 16
Oh, sorry.
across from the
Okay, there's
the
the,
mini mart. It's across from the mini mart over there. And the
there's
other
the one at their
They're
location,
both for square
and there's the
footage.
one that has the turning, says turn right here, that's over by the mini mart,
Right.
Rebecca.
Okay.
So there's two different locations, and both signs, they basically are using the sign, the size that they have, but that was already exceeding our ordinance.
It was grandfathered because.
And
it
those
was-
were grandfathered, yeah, that's explained in there, those were grandfathered in, but as a new owner, that grandfather clause does not transfer in the
Right.
owner, to a new owner. So we can either make them go to the right size or grandfather them in.
Yeah.
Well, we wouldn't be grandfathered.
Not grandfathering, but approving the variance.
Variance for their
Approving the
sign.
variance.
Rebecca?
I know that we recently allowed a business changeover to apply and receive for the same variance of the non-conforming sign. But I'd really like to get out of that practice. I don't like to see a business have to suffer a great expense in order to come into compliance with city ordinances, but we have the ordinances for a reason, and they have to do with the look and feel of our community. And they were created with intention, knowing that signs would, in time, have to come into compliance. I know I just stated we're not in an EDC meeting, but I will bring up a council-approved program that the EDC has in their back pocket was designed to help local businesses with this type of expense. And it was created for the city to be in partnership with enforcing the things that are desired, because all of those things that we desire the community to look like were not designed by one individual person. They were designed with a great deal of communication, conversation, and built consensus over a period of time. I would personally like to see the sign, while I'm impressed with the updated version, I would like to see the sign come into compliance with the sign regulations as they are.
Mayor?
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, Tony.
I do agree in the whole vision that Rebecca just said. I will just like to point out a couple of things. When I was on the Board of Adjustments before, I think the piece that resonated with me was it was on the onus of the business owner to provide maybe a hardship or something that was unique. And the example. The example that was given was like if you have a series of building fronts and maybe yours has a setback of maybe 1 to 2 or 3 feet, that if you put the same size sign on the setback building as you're relying on the rest of them, it basically kind of hides you. It doesn't give you the prominence. So with that said, the 173 where their entrance is, it's very low. And so if we conform, they're way down in that valley kind of thing. So if we reduced it all the way down, then I think that would be a hindrance on that business and that from that aspect for that location. Now this one, I don't see the same issue, but then you're talking about also that it's set back from the road. And so you're making this one in compliance with the same size signs that you're making on Main Street, which you don't have the same line of sight. So to me, with the precedents that we've already set regarding existing signs, the fact that this is definitely upgraded to the design that we have mentioned, the corporate we, not me personally, have mentioned that we would like to see our signs reflect a more frontier town, more cowboy capital of the world kind of look, and a Western Trail motif that we've done with our murals. With the precedents, the what was the word I used a minute ago? Hardship. It presents a hardship by if we reduce the sign size and the upgrade of the character of the sign. I'm leaning toward the approval. So that's.
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Darcy.
Let me finish writing my thought before I forget. Okay, so I have a few things. One, so I drive 173 every day because of where I work. So the sign on the bridge on 173 is currently covered with like a vinyl sign. And if that's the vinyl that they're talking about replacing on there, because it's not saying like vinyl stickers, like they're gonna replace it with a hard vinyl or hard plastic. I'm a hard no on the change because I think it looks tacky, and the design is wonderful. I love the design. Don't mistake what I'm saying. The design is fantastic. This I think looks good, but the one on 173 as you drive in now that's currently covered doesn't, and y'all can see it in this one where the wrinkles are in it and stuff like that. It's a vinyl, like Viner type sign. It does not.
Can we
look
ask her?
good.
She's on the
Yeah.
phone, so you don't keep.
But I'm definitely not done. But yeah, we can ask her.
She wasn't done. I just was gonna say before you
When
assume
finish,
that,
I have, yeah.
before you assume that, maybe we could
Yeah.
ask her.
I have a question. What is the size of the existing sign on 173?
It's in here. All
That's
this is in here,
number
including the
one.
fact that it's a grommeted sign.
Kristen,
here.
if you could please unmute yourself, I've allowed you to unmute yourself so you can speak with council.
That's the one we're talking about now.
It's in here.
That's what I thought I read, but I read it like 2 weeks ago. So.
Ms. Pearson, if you could unmute yourself, please, so you could speak to council.
Mayor?
Suzanne?
Yes.
So it does, she does say in here, in her description and whatnot, it does say that, in order to comply with the new code, we would need to remove the original sign structure and rebuild it. We do not currently have the budget to rebuild the structure, and yet,
Ma'am, I can see you,
We are
but if
required
you
to
would
replace
unmute
the
your
vinyl
cell
sign.
phone.
and it does in here talk about that it is a vinyl sign that will be grommeted similar to what it is currently. And it does talk about the size is on the front page.
8 by 12 is 96 square feet though, and
Correct.
I don't think that sign is that big, but I've passed
Yeah,
it so many times, I
yes.
may not be paying attention.
If it's the exact same size as what they had,
And it
Bandera
is,
sign,
I mean,
it is.
we can see it.
It says right here that it's 8 by 12.
Right, I saw
So
that.
this
Yeah,
says on my
and it's a
end
vinyl
that
banner
this is
hemmed with
connecting to
grommets.
audio.
Okay, so it says
Oh,
right
yeah.
there, okay.
No.
I'm
You're
just
not
questioning the size of the
connected to
existing
audio.
sign.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I agree that it is that big. And our ordinance is
And
for
that would
50
be on
square
your cell
feet.
phone, not on your Zoom, because you're logged in on both places.
So I would be against it for that reason, that it's a vinyl banner type sign that's not made to last. It's gonna get weathered quickly, it's gonna get ripped, it's not, it's not even very tight against the thing, and it's not covered.
Okay, now it's logged on.
It's not gonna look good. I think it already doesn't look good. Again, I think the
If you
design
wanna
looks
try to call
great.
back in again.
But it isn't gonna look good, it's not gonna last long. Also, it's not, I don't think that we already set a standard that we have to continue by what we did with Warrior's Heart. Warrior's Heart went in, it changed ownership. To me, that's a different thing. It's also on the outskirts, it's almost in the ETJ.
They did change
They did change
ownership, and
ownership.
one of the
That's
things.
what
in
That's
the
what she
contract
said.
Was that they had to change the sign.
Yeah, that's what she
Okay.
said. You're
Yeah.
saying what she said. That's what she
She
said.
did say that.
Okay, I'm sorry,
So that's where I'm getting at too, is Pioneer understands that your sign's gonna get old, and when it does, that
Are you there?
you are gonna have to
Okay,
comply.
she's, yes, ma'am. Just 1 second. Okay, go ahead.
Please don't move. Okay, I'm sorry, I was unable to unmute earlier. Yes, you're correct. The vinyl does need to be straightened. It's not going to be a hard plastic. It is going to be a flat vinyl against it. It is completely my mistake not realizing that I needed to have all this in place at a different size whenever we ordered the new signs. And we started hanging them when I was notified by the city that I had not followed the right procedures, and so we stopped. I didn't want to move forward any further before getting the city's approval, and I take full responsibility. It's my fault for not realizing that that was now different. I won't go into why I didn't realize it, but I did not. But it will be flat, it won't be a hard vinyl, and you are correct in that it does sit in a ravine and is low. And also the way the bridge is, the sign, because of the height, is able to be seen from the bridge. And if I were to lower it to the new specifications, you would not be able to see it from the bridge. It's also true, it's not in our budget, and I would be incredibly grateful for a variance, but I also understand that you have policies and rules for a reason, and I completely understand that. I can't say that I don't agree. I do understand that. But I would request a variance if at all possible.
And if I can continue, I just have one more thing. So also, and just like I kind of deemed Warrior's Heart for, in the application, I had asked them to, answer the question as to why, in here it says, tell us why other than financial reasons, do you need this variance? And she did. I mean, she told us that it would be harder to see from where it sits. I drive 173 every day. Y'all see it all the time. We all know. Yes, I agree that it would be harder to see if it was lower or impossible if it was where it was at. Again, with Warrior's Heart, where that sign was, it's not the same and it's metal. It's totally different. These are wood beams. It's gonna be a lot cheaper to replace, and it can be moved. It can be moved back to where it would be able to be seen from 173 still, which I would actually prefer as a Bandera resident, to not have something right on our bridge. I don't think it looks good, and I think having advertising right there is not something that I truly want for Bandera. So that's my 50 cents, not 2 cents.
So, and that was a good catch on the banner, because it was a sign request, so I was reading all of this as a sign, and it clearly states vinyl banner. So why isn't this being treated as a banner?
That's what I was gonna ask as well.
Why is it
Why,
treated?
why isn't it being treated as a banner, like a request for a banner to be put up?
Because it's it's gonna stay
It's gonna
there.
be fixed to that frame.
I know,
more
but
than
what's
2
our
weeks.
specifications for somebody that wants to hang a banner? For how long and for whatever?
I'm assuming that you're looking at me, you're asking me.
Well, yeah,
It's because it's attached to that, to an actual hard
surface.
surface.
I know that one.
There's several in town, it's been brought up before. The alteration shop there on 173 close to the cemetery is in a similar, but we have several. It's not hanging on something or flapping in the wind, it's actually attached to
Yeah.
something. And if while I'm speaking, if I could throw in here, Deputy Allen said that they have been wonderful, very, very easy to get along with, super nice about the whole process when he went down there and said, hey, because I'm the one coming into work and saw the scaffolding and said, and brought it to his attention, and he went down there, he came back, and he said, they're super nice folks, and they were very apologetic and very agreeable, not everybody's that way.
Yeah.
When told about this stuff.
And I appreciate that. I just want to follow up with what I was thinking was that I do, being on the EDC, and I mean, we made a specific decision based on master plan and the look and feel of the town that we wanted to invest in long-term signage and sign grants for people that are putting in quality signs and wanting to move them for the betterment of the. I mean, is there an option for us to give a temporary hanging for her, and then like give her 6 months to apply for a sign grant because she's already bought the sign. I mean, I hate for it not to go to use, but I'd like to see a better quality sign go up than a banner.
Well, as a council, we've done things like this in the past, not as a council, I'm sorry, as a board of appeals and a board of adjustment. So I really don't see why you couldn't give her X amount of time to come back to council with a revised sign, a hard surface sign to go wherever y'all want it
So,
to go.
Kristen, do you know the lifespan of a banner like this? Have they told you how long it's supposed to?
I do. The prior sign was also a banner. It just was placed flat, and this one was not finished being installed because of the phone call I received
Right.
mid-installation, and so they stopped. And that is why it does not look good right now. And I would agree, I don't want any wrinkles. I want it flat in quality. And we are very much trying to stay in compliance with the city's theme of
Yeah.
a cowboy town. I think it's fantastic. The lifespan of the banners is 3 years, and of the metal sign is 7 years. And the prior signs, both the turn right, turn left here sign on Highway 16 and also the main one on 173, all of those are banners. And we removed the first one, and we're in the process of hanging it when we stopped. But we already have purchased all 4 of the signs for replacement, and they all do look alike with the covered wagon.
I'd like to entertain. Go ahead. We'll
May I
finish
ask a
discussion.
question? Suzanne, if a variance is granted, can a time limit be attached to it? Or not? I really honestly don't know the answer to that.
What we have done in the past is rather than make a decision based on what's presented to us today, we have given the applicant the opportunity to make whatever corrections that council or the board hands down, and then come back to us in 30 days. It's been as much as 90 days, if you remember when we had the RV in the backyard over there.
The really challenging piece for me is that I mostly want to say no, and I want the sign to come into compliance. What makes it difficult is this individual has spent money, has invested money in this project. I wish this had been done differently. I wish the citizen was aware, and I wish that the EDC program was in place, and that they could get the money, and that this was all a beautiful partnership moving forward, making it happen the way that it is in our ordinances. And
Same.
that's the idea and the goal that I would prefer to stick with as a council member and as a Board of Adjustments member, and yeah.
So, I'd like to make a motion.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the 2 signs as is for the lifespan of 3 years.
Is that both signs, Tony?
Both
1
signs,
and
both
2?
signs,
On both applications, 4 signs.
for both applications, yeah.
I'm gonna second for the purpose
Rebecca's gonna
of
second.
discussion.
Discussion?
Well, you may go first since you made the motion.
So, yeah, so my thought process is that if she's already gonna have to replace them in 3 years, that we have that time to work with her, on how to get a sign ordinance, and she, hopefully she won't take the entire 3 years, that maybe she, we can bring her a sign application for the EDC, explain to her, and maybe we can help her find some way to get it improved prior to 3 years, but that way she at least has her signs up, they're able to be seen at the position that they are, at no extra cost to her, and have this as a learning thing to move forward.
Thank you. Rebecca?
Again, I question the legality of putting the 3-year expiration date on a variance, and I would prefer to consult with the attorney before moving forward with a vote on that motion.
Okay, I'll amend my motion.
Okay,
I amend it to add, with approval of attorney.
May I say something?
of course. Yes, ma'am.
I know that at this point, you're not looking for my opinion, but I am an attorney and it is legal. So I would be very grateful, and as soon as my budget can get a new sign up, I would be thrilled to do that.
That's awesome.
was
Yeah, good input. So I amend my motion to say the city attorney. Kidding, I'm kidding, Kristen. I'm kidding, Kristen. That's good.
I mean,
That's
can
good,
we-
though. I hope that's true. I mean, I hope that, yeah.
No, it is true,
Yeah,
and I would very much like to do it sooner rather than later, but I appreciate the time because I will need to be able to pay for this out of pocket, so.
Right.
May I request that we convene in closed session for consultation with attorney so we can get this done tonight?
At this instant,
Yeah.
okay, so I'm going to
Recess.
recess the regular Board of
That's not
Adjustment
what it
meeting
is.
at 6:10. Did we find
Do you
it?
need the
Okay,
language?
got it. So pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.071, consultation with attorney, the Board of Adjustment of the City of Bandera is now going into closed session. Reconvening regular session of Board of Adjustments meeting after consulting with our attorney. Tony, did you want to make a motion?
Yes, I would like to
May
amend.
I- Sorry, you are amending.
I'm
Okay.
amending. I would like to amend my motion to approve the variance with conditions. Those conditions being the sign will become compliance to size and height per our section 3.09.012 within a 3-year period.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll second if you would add,
Just second
Just-
and discuss.
okay. May I discuss? I did second.
Yes.
I would just, I'm curious about adding, like, if they don't come into compliance with, in that 3-year time period, that they are removed, the whole structure's removed.
Okay. I'm good with that.
I'm good with that.
Okay, so I'm amending my motion again to add that within the 3-year period, it becomes compliant or the entire out of compliance sign is removed.
Do you want for a specific date on it, or just 3 years? You wanna say
I would say
February
3 years.
25th, 2024?
February 24th, 2024.
Thank you.
2242024.
Okay,
Does that need to be seconded, the amendment?
She,
she's already seconded.
Did you
Do
second
I'll
the
second
amendment?
the
you
second
agree?
amendment.
Second amendment, okay.
I just have one thing that I would like on the record before we vote, as far as discussion goes. I don't necessarily like the fact that we're still gonna grant a variance when we've had a lot of problems with variances here in town, and just even for, you know, like Renee's building across the street where she had to build a whole new structure, and then the sign ordinance was changed, and then she could have built a bigger one, and so, you know, now if she wanted to build a bigger one, it would cost her money, and so I think we kinda have to quit doing this, and then we have to stick to where we're at. I understand what we're doing, I like what we're doing, we're all kind-hearted people, and we wanna help her out, and we don't want her to lose money, and so that's why I'm gonna vote yes, but I do want it on the record that I really would like us to get away from being like this, so if people would follow the ordinances, please.
Wouldn't that be
I
nice?
just want to
yeah, be
comment
sure and
to
talk to
that.
the 2 people listening.
Although it seems like it's so far down the road, I think by giving this individual, or even the next individual, a time limit, a 6-month, 1 year, 2 year, whatever it is, run with what you got if you've already put in the time and the effort and the money. But you will be expected to come into compliance at a certain point.
Sure.
And at some point, we have to say, asking permission is not, asking forgiveness is not better than asking permission. So, at some
Sure,
point,
she's
we
doing
have
the
to do
right
that.
thing.
Yeah,
She did the right
she did the right thing, yeah.
Well, getting a sign permit to begin with would have been the right thing, we would have avoided all of this.
But she could have been.
She wouldn't have been out the expense, and we wouldn't be bending the rules.
Okay. Further discussion? All in favor? All in favor, none opposed.
Thank you, Ms.
So the
Pearson.
variance is granted. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion
Motion.
to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in
Christine,
favor?
second. Discussion? All in favor?
Okay, anybody who is logged into this BOA